Hello. Thanks for being on this quick little video. I want to go over a few things when it comes to leadership. Now, for me, when I first started with Isagenix, I didn't necessarily think that I was a leader. I didn't have a team. I didn't even really know what leadership was. And when my mentors began to pour belief into me and saying, you're a leader, and started to, whether it was posts like, I'm so proud of this person, or they're such a great leader, all of a sudden I was like questioning my personal beliefs of not necessarily knowing that I was a leader, but also it began to kind of unpack the layers of the onion when it came to me starting to believe that I was a leader, or that I could be a leader, or that I needed to foster those leadership qualities and abilities within myself and learn that stuff. Because according to John Maxwell, leadership is, yes, there are people that have natural leadership tendencies and abilities, but it's also a skill. It can be learned and it can be fostered and it can be grown. So if you guys haven't necessarily read The 21 Laws of Irrefutable Leadership by John Maxwell, I highly suggest that. But I'm also going to go over a few just kind of little nuggets when it comes to leadership. So low leadership means that you let emotions dictate you. And high leadership means that you feel the same emotions. So the emotions are still there, you still feel them. It's not to say that they don't exist, but you let principles guide your actions. And so one of my favorite books is it's the 4 Agreements. And sometimes I even still have to go back, and if someone doesn't get back to me at first, when I first started in Isagenix, I would reach out to someone or call them and they didn't call me back, and then all of a sudden I would make up the story like, oh my gosh, they don't like me, they're never gonna talk to me again, they're gonna delete me off of Facebook and blah blah blah, blah, and they just, right? So now we just go into this tailspin of this negative information or mindset or belief. And with the 4 Agreements, it says, like, never take anything personally. And the great part about telling ourselves a story, right? Because this conversation, the chatter will always happen. It just is a matter of what story we believe. So what if we told ourselves a different story? And one of the other 4 agreements is always believe the best about others. So when I started to really believe the best about others, when it came to the stories that were going on in my head, it made a big difference. And so instead of going in this negative tailspin, all of a sudden, I would just start to say, they're probably busy, or maybe they didn't see the message, or they forgot to reply. Because I know that I've done that too. I'll see a text message or see a Facebook message, and then get distracted, and I'm just like off. And then all of a sudden it's like 6 months later, and I'm like, crap, I totally forgot to write that person back. And it wasn't it wasn't like that I was ignoring them, or it was just like, I just forgot. And so if you start to tell yourself those stories versus the they hate me, they don't like me, they're avoiding me, they're blah, 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 like all this negative tailspin stuff, that can make a huge difference when it comes to continuing to reach out to people. This was kind of a little thing, but it's like, how come when we tell ourselves stories that we go into a tailspin that is negative? And why are we always the victims or the villain? Like, why is it, well, oh, I don't want to bug them, or like right now I'm this villain that I'm trying to get them and hunt them down, or oh, they don't like me, well, now it's the victim mentality. The difference between the mindset of victim and villain versus a successful person is that the mindset that the successful person really adapts and utilizes, and it's the story that they believe, but it's that they are the superhero in the story. They're not the victim, they're not the villain, they are the superhero. So when it comes to reaching out to people about Isagenix, you are the superhero. You literally have something that can help save their life, or help save their health, or give them the energy to play with their kids, or to show up to their job and to be better at their job and maybe get a raise. Or you have something that can help pay off their debt faster. You have something that can help them grow as a person. You guys, half of marriages would be saved if there was an extra $300 to $500 a month in the household. You have something that can save marriages. You are a superhero. You're not a victim. You are not a villain. You're not out to hunt and to get people. You are not, tell yourself a different story. You are a superhero. You have a gift and that they need. And so when you understand that, and when you understand that you can offer this gift, and if they don't take it, that's okay. That's up to them. It's not their timing yet. And it will be when their life is ready, when their heart is open, when they experience or when they need the change that they really are ready for. Because when it does come to change, as human beings, we actually naturally either move towards pleasure or away from pain. And so if someone isn't in enough pain in the situation that they're in, they aren't going to move yet. And if there hasn't been enough pleasure, so maybe someone has been on the yo-yo diet and blah, 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 and they just keep going up and down, their experience when it comes to changing their healthy habits, it hasn't elicited that feeling of pleasure. Or maybe there's something in their life that financially they're not in enough pain yet to be open to new possibilities and to having an online business. I know for me, I have been approached by a lot of other people with network marketing, and it wasn't until, and I was actually even just a happy product user of Isagenix and not wanting to share it with a bunch of people and not wanting to build a business because of my perception of network marketing. But when I finally hit a point where I was exhausted and overwhelmed in my business, and I was drowning in debt and struggling to keep the doors of my business open, I was finally open to another stream of revenue because I needed it, and I was in enough pain where I was at to finally do something different. And when I did, I went for it, and I replaced my full-time income in like 6 or 8 months, and it was crazy and it was awesome, and it's possible for you too. So yeah, I hope that inspires you and gives you just a little bit of languaging and just a little bit more understanding when it comes to leadership. When it comes to leadership, catch people doing something right so that you can celebrate that. Don't motivate them in guilt. Don't say, oh, well, you didn't do this, or like motivate them in greatness. Don't put them down in their guilt. And then, if you want new money, you got to make a new comfort zone. And so you need to be having an oh crap moment every single day, whether it's with your chicken list, which one of my mentors, PK Smith, he always joked, okay, we have our chicken list, and before calling someone on our chicken list, we would have to say, yum, 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 I love chicken. And so if you need to do that to kind of get you to laugh, to get you to say, to lighten things up and to give that person a call, it changes the energy that you'll feel when you call them. If you see someone who has potential to be a great leader, don't let them shrink back into their comfort zone. Continue to pour greatness into them. Continue to pour belief into them. Continue to challenge them. Continue to have the harder conversations with them. Continue to treat them and serve them peer-to-peer. Treat them peer-to-peer and treat them like the leader that they are and like the potential that you see in them. So, and pouring greatness into someone, when you pour belief into them, their mind begins to believe what it is that, and the potential that you see. Now there is a balance. You can't get necessarily stuck on someone's potential because action will always trump intention. So someone can intend to, I'm going to enroll this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to whatever it might be. So always look at what the person is doing, right? Look at their feet versus their mouth. Look at what they're doing versus what they're saying. But also, if you see a great leader and the potential of someone to be a great leader, challenge them and draw that out in them, because every diamond is always rough, and it's kind of in this layer of of dirt when they draw it out of the ground, and they have to polish it and clean it and bring it in, make it become this beautiful diamond. And so I want to challenge you guys that when you see that leader, when you see the potential of them, pour greatness into them. And don't let them shrink into their comfort zone, so that they can begin to step into that position of leadership and really take ownership of their business, ownership of their lives, and take 100% responsibility for everything that's going on. So I hope this helps. If this has, feel free to share it with your team. You know, I'm so grateful for you guys that you're spending this time with me to really learn, because it is my intention, my hope, my desire and dream that you see yourself as a leader, that you use Isagenix as an incredible vehicle to get to the dreams and the visions and the callings that God has placed on your life, because I know that that's what we're doing, and we're just so grateful every single day. So thank you for spending this time with me, and I hope that you guys make it a great day.